Hi, Oscar. It's great to see you.
Hi.
Thanks for joining me. I've got lots of questions to ask you for everyone who comes to our ADM, and I'll just run through some questions. But first of all, do you want to tell us about you, what you do in Matthew 25, how long you've been there?
Yeah, well, my name's Oscar Plumley. I'm the charity manager at the Matthew 25 mission. I've been here for about 6 years now. I came here originally, I was working for Age Concern Eastbourne, running the Eastbourne Shed, and the Matthew 25 mission was a local charity near to the shed. And I got asked to come in, and when I came in, I thought to myself, wow, what a fabulous job it's doing here. But actually, any of these people that come here, that could be me. A couple of bits of bad luck in my life, a couple of wrong decisions, I could be coming to the mission as a guest. Yeah. So I started to volunteer here. I used to come and cook breakfasts. So I used to come in for I used to go to the shed about 6:30, 7, get prepared, come here, cook breakfast, and then go to the shed. I did that for a number of different years. I was involved with the trustees during work as a community champion with them. About 2 years ago, they were looking to get somebody to run the Matthew 25 mission. The person who was running it wanted to step aside and be the chaplain for the mission, and they kept asking me, and eventually I decided actually this is what I wanted to do, and so January before, I started with the aim of running the mission. I had lots of ideas. I'd been in for about every Wednesday for 6 weeks beforehand. I'd set up a target and things that I wanted to do, how I wanted to change certain things. Because at the time, people came and help themselves, and I wanted it to be more of a place, almost like a cafe, where actually we serve them. The whole concept of Matthew 25 mission is to serve people. And so I wanted us to serving food. So we take everything to them. We make them the coffees. We bring them the coffees. All part of so that they feel like they're coming to a normal cafe, even though it's a drop-in centre. Obviously, COVID hit, and things changed dramatically almost overnight. We set in a number of different plans straight away. We started off having a few people in, and almost a week later, we decided we had to go to a takeaway. And so going from 400 meals a week, as soon as COVID hit, all of a sudden we were up to 1,200 meals a week. Wow. Because a number of different other groups couldn't do the work they wanted to do, because a lot of their volunteers were elderly, and they had to isolate. We ended up going from 5 days a week to 7 days a week. And that's obviously that was a challenge, and that meant that it was a challenge financially, and also a challenge on the staff and the volunteers we have here. So it's for the last year we've been working flat out. There's I'm the charity manager. We have a chaplain who looks after spiritual and works a lot of outreach. He visits different families and different other groups, and does a lot of phone calls, probably 30 to 40 phone calls a day at the moment, rather than face to face. And then we've got 2 key workers, and we're very lucky that Devonshire West has supported us in having another key worker, which has made a huge difference to the guests that come to us. And we over the year, we had about 40 volunteers. A lot of our volunteers have had to self-isolate, and some have come back, some other ones have had to isolate, because once again, they're over 70, or they might have a partner that's vulnerable. So we've managed to keep it a core group together. But as I say, over the years, about 40 volunteers. With the last lockdown, we've split it now so that we only try to have a maximum of 8 people in the building, and that's the building split off into 2, so that only 3 to 4 people can be in one area at one time, all due to the COVID safety. But it's been working well, and obviously everything is done outside. All of our key working, or all of the the food, the takeaways that give out, donations and clothing that we give to people. The only times people are allowed in here is special one-to-one things when we do video calls, when, for example, somebody needs special help with PIP or benefits, and then we work with the CAB through video linking.
Wow, sounds like you do a lot, don't you? A lot of variety, don't you?
There is a lot of variety, yeah. It's, I mean, because of the way we've set it out, trying to keep everybody, because the most important thing is we keep everybody safe, our staff, volunteers and guests. So it does mean that sometimes somebody will ring up and say, I can't make it in today because this has happened. And so one day I might be, one couple of hours I might be making teas and coffees, and next minute I might be serving food to our guests. And when that happens, often the work that I need to do to make sure the charity runs properly is done at the end of the day, 4 o'clock onwards, or first thing in the morning. I tend to get in about 5:45 to get started. So it's taking its toll, but you know, we're hoping for that the end is near. The end of the pandemic is in sight. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like you're a busy man, Oscar. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I've got a few more questions for you from the board of Devonshire West Big Local. So tell us, what kind of people do you come to Matthew 25? What kind of people do you help?
Well, anybody. I mean, the whole concept of Matthew 25 is we're Christian-based charity, although you don't have to be Christian to come here or work here or volunteer here. We have a Muslim chap who's on the front gate. We have atheists, and we have obviously Christians, and the people who come to us are from all walks of life. Traditionally, we have homeless, we have people who are lonely, people who are low income, we have people with disabilities, families, anybody who's vulnerable and in need are the people that we support in the community. And at the moment, over 80% of the people that we support come from Devonshire West Ward. And they could be, say, families, people who are vulnerable. The vast majority, almost 100%, have some sort of mental health issue. And they have complex needs. So they may have addictions, they may, I say at the moment, I think it's about 9% of the people that come to us are actually homeless, because a lot are now housed. But once again, they're housed, but they have a little support. Not all of them, but quite a lot of them have little support. So they can come to us. We have 2 key workers, so one of them, which Devonshire West is supporting and paying for. And they can then look at them and support them in any area that they need, whether it's even phoning the doctors, sorting out the benefits, giving them clothes, food parcels, silly things like, for example, make sure somebody could go to the funeral, couldn't get over to Hastings, make sure, get the ticket organised, get them over so they could go to a funeral. Anything and everything that somebody needs, we will support them.
Wow, brilliant. Well, brilliant. About the families, do you know how many families you supported last year, and what kind of help they asked for specifically? Or
we had 10 families that we supported all the way through the pandemic. And that's with food parcels, clothing, out with benefits. But what we found, we've had a lot of families that often, perhaps not the family, but the father would come or the mother would come, and one of the parents might have lost their job, be made redundant, and they needed that support, because often just help actually filling in the forms. And if they're on, you get universal credit. Often it's 4 or 5 week wait until they get any funding. So we'd be helping them with food, with any sort of support, clothes, until they get that universal credit, and then they step away and don't need to come back. And we've had other people, other families that when they're furloughed, when they're furloughed, they just don't have enough money to last because they're on 80%.
Yeah.
And then so they come and get a little bit of support from us. Once it's not furloughed, they're back at work, no problems. You know, quite a few have been families where the parents work in the hotel industry, and they've really suffered. And that's obviously quite a local thing.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about the future? What the long-term implications of COVID are going to be, and how do you think Matthew 25 is going to adapt and change for the future?
Well, we've adapted hugely. I mean, we've gone from 2 years ago doing about 15,000 meals to last year we did over 50,000 meals.
Wow.
And we're averaging about 118 guests a day. That's visits. I think 385 different people come each month. I can see it continuing. I'd like to hope that it will drop down and people will get back into work and won't need us, or will need us very sparingly. But I can see what's going to happen is there's a huge amount of people that will need support with their mental health.
Yeah. And
all of our key workers and the vast majority of our volunteers have now done mental health awareness courses, mental health first aid courses, to make sure that we're ready and prepared for that. We won't be we work more as a signposting, making sure that they get the support they need from the specialists. We're looking at, after lockdown, we'd love to get back as a drop-in centre, because the whole idea is people come here, the food that we provide is almost like breaking the ice. It's a place they can come and they get something warm, something healthy, nutritional. But then we can once they feel comfortable with the food and warm and happy and supportive environment, they can open up, and then we can then address some of the other issues. We are hoping very shortly to build or have some we call them sheds, but they're almost like little mini workshops at the side of the mission. And the aim is to have laundry area, so that people, because one of the big things is got nowhere to wash your clothes. So we have that, but then also have a small little gym. The idea is somebody comes so we can look at the holistic everything, and also link into their mental health, so that then in 1 and 2s we can take them in there, we can do some exercise, so they're looking at feeding them nutritional food, support them with their mental health, support them with the other issues, and support them with their physical health as well. And also a little workshop there to do some little bit training, a little bit support, a little bit help for those people who want to take the next step on. So it's going to, I can see, I'd like to hope that, you know, in a way, the ideal world, we wouldn't exist, we wouldn't be needed, but we are, and we continue to work as much as we can. But I can see it being a slight drop off, but the ones that come to us will have more complex needs. We are going to work, well, my aim is that when we start, we're going to carry on with the takeaways. We can do some questionnaires and some work with our guests, find out what they want, and then opening up and having a couple of sessions so they can come in, especially those the more vulnerable and those who need that extra support, can come in, have their food, be supported. But those who want to just come in and get some food, or just come in and get a bit of help, and that way, if we've got 70 people coming in for lunch, say, well, we can only get 30 people in here, and during COVID it's about 10. So we might have to do 2 sessions or three meal sessions, and then have the rest as takeaways. That is complicated in that a lot of the people that come to us struggle with time through the mental health and through the issues they have. You know, you'll say you've got to be here at 9 o'clock. Some will turn up at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and then so it's going to be a big challenge. But we've also been very lucky to everybody that's worked has been vaccinated. Which is really fabulous, and any other volunteer that comes, we'll make sure that they get vaccinated, so that hopefully we'll be in a situation where we can have them coming in and feeling safe, the guests in here.
It sounds like you thought of everything, Oscar.
Oh, I'm sure I haven't. No, just...
But anything else you want to say, or you want to let us know what you're doing, or?
Yeah, so we that's our aim at the moment, to have those sessions. The key working, obviously, we want to keep going as long as possible. Like everything, it's all to do with funding, and obviously without the shop and the money coming from the shop and all, a lot of our funding comes from local community and local people. And you know, and from other churches, they haven't been able to do the fundraising. So obviously we expect a lot more key working to be done. As society opens up and places open up, certain people, a lot from the vulnerable, will need more support to enable them to get back into work, or enable them to take that next step away from possible addiction, which can be really difficult. And if you've had a year of extreme difficulties, it'll take a long time to actually overcome those. So it's going to be a big challenge the next year or years, I think.
I think you're absolutely right, Oscar. So, but just want to say thank you for all the work you do. I don't want to hold you up too long, because I know you're a very busy man. But thank you, Oscar, for talking to us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.